Breadgate. Why every fast food joint will be selling loaves by Fat Electrician, aka the Fat Files here.
Mark my words, if this law goes into effect, every single fast food restaurant in the state of California will start selling loaves of bread.
You got me. You got my
Today we're
attention.
talking about blatant political corruption and Panera Bread, and once I start going down this rabbit hole, I'm not going to be able to stop, so we're going to go ahead and get the ad out of the way right now up front. Zaka Life Go Balm. It's made in the USA, 100% organic, full-spectrum CBD balm that you can put on any ache, any sprain, or athletic injury, and it's going to make it immediately feel better. This is one of the few times that I've actually approached a company to rep their product and not the other way around, because I actually use this stuff, okay? I'm 30, I'm fat, I've been doing construction for years, things hurt, this makes it not hurt. So if you're in the same boat as me, go ahead and give this stuff a try over at ZakaLife.com. Use the discount code FAT5 to save some money. Let's get back to the video.
That's wild to consider that he's 30. I just turned 29, quite literally as of recording this yesterday. Wow, that's a fun fact. I'm so sorry for the pause. I like the really rapid fire ad. What a hook, first off. Second, this is going to be a wild ride. Third, fast, quick ad read, uses it himself. I honestly love this.
Okay, so here's what happened. The minimum wage in California is $16 an hour. The
Right.
California state government is trying to pass a law that would make the minimum wage for fast food employees $20 an hour. Now, this
Okay.
law isn't designed to affect every restaurant in the state of California. It's specific for fast food chains. And a fast
Okay.
food chain is defined as any chain restaurant that has 60 or more locations nationwide.
Okay.
And those locations have a drive-through, or when they do have in-dining, there is zero table service, so like there's no waiter or waitress. Okay, so
Okay.
exactly what most people think of when they think of fast food. Now, there are some exemptions within the law. So hypothetically, say you took a major chain restaurant like a McDonald's or a Wendy's, an individual restaurant could be exempt from this new minimum wage if that restaurant is inside of an airport, inside of a hotel, inside of an event center, a theme park, a public or private museum, a gambling establishment, or is considered a concession stand, or that restaurant is located on state-owned land.
I'm going to be honest, the casino one here is the one that's throwing me off. I think the airport one makes sense. I don't want to say it's lobbying, but I think the casino one is a little strange here.
They would no longer have to pay that $20 minimum wage. Now, right off the bat, most of those seem pretty okay, except for that last one about state-owned land. It seems like the government's just basically coming out and saying, hey, everybody has to pay this new minimum wage unless it's a restaurant that we own, in which case we don't have to abide by our own rules. Essentially saying the quiet part out loud of, hey, the government's here to make sure nobody fucks you except for them. But I mean, let's face it, that's pretty much just how it's always been. It's probably how it's always gonna be. Now, this bill makes it all the way through the state government. It's in its final stages. And then at the last moment, somebody adds an additional exemption. And that exemption is that a restaurant is no longer required to pay that minimum wage if they also sell bread as a standalone item, which
What? Why? A last minute addition. Why? I need to know more.
I think we can all agree is kind of a weird exemption. I mean, off the top of my head, that would pretty much only apply to Panera Bread. At this point, Bloomberg puts two and two together and they're like, hey, you know who owns a bunch of Panera Breads in the state of California? Governor Newsom's friend. They went to the same high school. They've done business together in the past. He even donated like $160,000 to Governor Newsom's campaign recently.
Actually, so this opens up a good question. I'm not accusing anybody of this, but what I can say is this might potentially run afoul of insider trading. I know, for instance, me working under NDAs and stuff like that, we had to go, obviously insider trading was part of it. If you say you have a significant other or a friend that works for something, right? Say they work for, I don't know, Apple, right? And you get wind of a revolutionary new product that they're going to be launching and it's going to be great. And you hear about it through them, even if they don't talk to you directly, say it's via DM or you overhear them talking or something like that. And you hear it and you trade on that, you can be found guilty of insider trading. There are many, many lawyers out there that can probably explain this a lot better than I can. What I can say is if you are good buddies with a relevant and affluent political figure and you catch wind of legislation like this, and especially if any stocks are traded or moved in this time, you can be looking at some serious trouble for insider trading. But then again, it depends how much they actually make in the insider trade versus how much that a fine they'd have to pay. And if it's pennies on the dollar, I mean, yeah, I guess that would make sense. I don't know. These are some of those things that, like, if I had a friend that was in a position like this, right, I'm not going to trade because, one, out of respect, but two, I have information that's unfair. If Apple were to launch tomorrow, if they were going to launch a new tablet and it was going to have, I don't know, a dedicated graphics card in it, right? And I knew it was going to come out in advance. Do you think that's necessarily fair of me to trade stocks or short stock with that information? That's not fair.
So now Gavin Newsom's taking a bunch of heat for potential political corruption, and he's not just taking it from like Republicans because he's a Democrat. No, he's getting it from all sides because it's so fucking obvious that it's political corruption. I mean, he's a Democrat and he got called out by Bloomberg, for fuck's sake. So first, the news.
I honestly don't really know. I know Bloomberg is and thing. I don't really know their relevance here personally. Don't really delve too deep down that. But that being said, this should be a whatever party you fall into. If someone's going to be blatantly saying the quiet part out loud and you're going to be in a situation like this, that's not necessarily a political thing. That's a, dude, WTF, what are you doing? And yeah, clearly everyone across the aisle is calling him out for this.
Outlets ask him, they're like, why did this bread exemption get added in the first place?
And
to which he basically responded, it was part of the sausage making process for the bill and provided no more explanation. And then when the interviewer came out and just straight up asked him, like, don't you think it's a little bit weird that everybody has to pay a $20 minimum wage except for Gavin Newsom's friend? Gavin Newsom said, no, that's not true because we never talked about it.
It's a friend of Gavin Newsom who doesn't have to pay the $20 an hour minimum wage.
But it turns out, A, it's not true. He never talked to me about it, period.
Okay, I'm going to call BS on that because you have to consider if you're a CEO, if you are in public office, if you are a CFO, if you're an executive, if you are a president, if you are in a position of power, you are held to a higher standard. Like, I'm not even going to be nice about this. If I am a manager in a workplace, am I not held to a higher standard than people underneath me, right? Absolutely. If somebody messes up, so for example, working in finance, right? If I was managing the person that, I told the story about how someone ended up getting a call and they didn't verify the person. I found out it was a BS call to begin with and I had to fix the whole situation, right? If I was managing them, I would also be in trouble. Why are you not teaching them not to do this? Why are you teaching them to just send stuff over without verifying the information, right? Stuff that's, as a manager, you're going to be on the hook for. You have to also consider your position and how it's going to be looked at from the outside. This is why I don't talk about a lot of stuffs on stream as a YouTuber, as a public figure, I guess, as some people would call me, because I've reached a certain size, right? I don't talk about certain things because of how it's going to be looked at from the outside. I'm not just talking about the weird minority of Twitter users. No, what I'm talking about is exactly like this. If you are a prominent public figure and you have a hand in trying to pass legislation or pass policies or do something that benefits another prominent figure, right? Do you not think people are reasonably going to jump and say, hey, this makes sense, correlation here might be causation, or hey, why are you doing this? I refuse, and then also holding them accountable, because like I refuse to believe you have such a lack of cognizance and understanding of the world around you. So yeah, we need to be holding people like this to a higher standard because it is a problem. And this amendment, this bread amendment, needs to be redacted ASAP because that's not fair contextually.
Stops.
Do you understand the gravity of what that dude just said? He basically got caught red-handed, giving a political favor to a buddy, and then when he was directly asked about it, he said, I'm not doing political favors for my friend, and I know that because my friend and I never talked about it. This man is literally trying to gaslight people into thinking they don't know how friendships work. Like, yeah, obviously, me and my friends have never had a direct conversation about not kicking each other in the dick, but also, we're not gonna go kick each other in the dick because we all know we're friends. And you wanna know what's gonna happen? Nothing. Absolutely nothing is going to happen because Newsom is a politician and politicians get away with absolutely everything. It's not a Republican thing. It's not a Democrat thing. It's if you're in the politician club, you can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want and you'll never get in trouble. I mean, there are both Republican and Democrat politicians at the federal level right now that supposedly are better stock market investors than fucking Warren Buffett, but they didn't get that good at stock trading until after they became politicians and had access to insider information, but they would never use that insider information. Never. Not once.
Allegedly, how that works is that they'll make the insider trade, and even if they get caught red-handed, it's only like a maximum of like $200,000 like for each offense. Allegedly, from my understanding, I would be open to the actual numbers behind that. No, like, how is that absolutely fair? If anything, that should disqualify. Like, imagine, if you will, imagine Kip pulls a Brandon Herrera. I go for like a local congressional seat, or go for, God forbid, an actual federal congressional seat, right? And I have access to information, right? Going back to the Apple example, I know Apple's going to do something, right? Oh, maybe I should buy Apple stock when it's low, and then I'll sell it when it's high, right? Like, that's unfair. To me, I should, one, not do that, and two, if I did do that, I should at least disclose that, and three, I should also just oust myself from that office right then and there. I think that's incredibly fair. Your average person, right? Pull someone off the street from a KFC, pull someone off the street from a bank or credit union, right? Like an environment and finance that I worked in, right? Pull a construction worker off the street, right? And would they have access to this information reasonably? No. Okay, this seems like a little bit of an unfair advantage. Wouldn't you agree?
Never.
I'm sure.
So politicians get away with that. Meanwhile, I'm over here getting $120 tickets because the window tint on my car is apparently too dark, even though that's the exact same tint that came on it from the fucking factory.
Yeah.
And that's not even the worst part. Like, am I frustrated about blatant political corruption? Yeah, but I see it so much, so often, I'm basically desensitized to it at this point. The most frustrating part of this particular Breadgate incident is that it just highlights that politicians have absolutely no understanding of cause and effect. Seriously.
They don't. Also, I would also like to throw my hat into the ring. They're just saying the quiet parts out loud now. They don't have a reason to care. And so thus we're seeing more and more just wild things that they're doing. And it's really just pissing off everybody at this point. Like, I'm not going to go into very specifics or anything. Like, just think about in the past few years alone, right? It's really just, they're just saying the quiet parts out loud at this point. And now we even have a whole Amazon, Target, and Trader Joe's, right, in the U.S. that are trying to declare unions as unconstitutional, right, or something. Like, they're trying to abolish labor unions. And I'm just sitting here like, dude, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this reality. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why this timeline specifically. I don't want it anymore. No, he's directly on point, and part of it is desensitization, right? Suddenly, your buddy shows you a Reddit page where they're showing live leaks, and they're showing stuff that's happening over in war zones, right? You see it the first time, maybe it's a little traumatizing, but the more and more you look at it, the more and more normalized and desensitized you are to it, which makes it easier and easier to come across that kind of content or that kind of content to happen, right? Not necessarily chasing the dragon, but similar enough, right? And I think that is a large problem. Yes, we should be getting animated about stuff like this, and I think Fat Electrician is absolutely on point with this. I know some people are going to be like, well, Kip, this is getting into politics. Kip, you're getting too political. And I'm just like, look, people have called me political for quite literally complaining about my own school experience at this point. And should I shut up about it? Probably. I don't want to rehash the same thing 20 times across 10 different videos. Relevant point being made. I'm not against it. It's just tiring for me to go through this. You have to understand, in my personal life, I have to deal with family members that talk about discrepancy between medical care for men and women, right? Gynecologists, female specialists, etc., and how awful their treatment is. I have to deal with conversations regards to masculinity, Andrew Tate. I have to deal with conversations regarding macro warfare. I have to deal with conversations of macro and microeconomics. I have to talk to people like my parents literally about, this is why I told you about this financial institution. This is why I don't like this financial institution. I've literally told you this. I have to talk about the modern job market. I have to talk about so many things that I don't want to put out in videos. One, because I try to be as reasonable, positive, etc., but also, I just get so tired. I have to step back at a certain point. In conversation format like this, though, I can absolutely look at what Fat Electrician's putting down, what he's laying down, and I'm like, I agree with this. So far, everything he said is absolutely on point in my opinion, and you should be getting animated about this.
I've got a 3-year-old that can put a 4-piece puzzle together, and I'm willing to bet a significant portion of these politicians can't. Okay,
no,
you know what?
Can't.
I'm just going to show you. Let's do a thought experiment together. McDonald's has come out and said that this new minimum wage increase is going to cost McDonald's $250,000 a year per location. Okay, let's pull up Google. How many McDonald's are in the state of California? 1,224. Okay, multiply that by $250,000. That's $306 million a year.
Okay.
Okay, are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? Because I'm trying to tell you that the California state government is about to put McDonald's in a situation where McDonald's can A, pay $306 million, or they can B, figure out how to bake a fucking loaf of bread inside their restaurant every day. Which one do you think McDonald's, aka one of the most successful capitalist endeavors ever, is gonna take, okay?
They're gonna take the bread route because they don't have to shell out more money. They can find an internal process or commission some factory somewhere, whatever, to make this. They're probably going to ship it in the same way they do a lot of things. They'll probably just ship it in. And congrats, they're just selling McLoaves. Can I trademark that? Can I trademark a McLoaf? And then, like, you know how people buy, like, web domains, like business.com, stuff like that? They'll buy domains, then large companies will look at them and be like, crap, well, I want that .com, and they kind of hold it hostage. Can we do that? Can we just, like, trademark, like, all these Mick things, or will, like, McDonald's legal actually come down on us? Like, well, you can't do that, you can't do it. Well, to be fair, also remember, McDonald's lost, what was it? The pub in Ireland, I think it was, that was called McDonald's or something. They tried to sue it, but since the pub came first, they won it. God, I hate legal. Oh, legal is a headache and a nightmare. But that'd be really funny, though. Just start trademarking a bunch of Mick whatevers. Suddenly you have a portfolio of nothing but Mick products. God, that'd be great. Kind of like how Red Lobster has in the Russian Badger video, right? They've trademarked all instances of, like, Lobstoberfest and stuff like that, right? Cheddar Bay biscuits, they've trademarked all of those. We just start throwing out trademarks like that and limiting what companies can and can't do. I think that'd be hilarious, personally.
Every fucking McDonald's in California is going to have an easy bake oven on the front desk.
Yes.
And they're going to bake a single fucking loaf of bread every day, and now they don't have to pay the new minimum wage.
Yes.
Because politicians are this fucking stupid. And then not only is McDonald's going to sidestep the entire minimum wage, they're also going to charge $1,000 for that loaf of bread because they fucking can.
Yeah.
It's going to turn it into an internet meme, which is going to give them free marketing. And you know what? Some people are still going to buy the $1,000 loaf of bread just to say they did it. Remember when Szechuan dipping sauce for McNuggets was selling for $15,000 on eBay? Yeah, that's also going to happen. And remember, it's not just McDonald's that's going to be doing this. It's going to be every fast food chain in the entire state, because all they have to do is bake a couple loaves of bread and save hundreds of millions of dollars a year. That's probably what they're going to do. And it's like, at least with the political corruption, I can understand it. Like, I don't approve of it. I'm not a fan, but I can understand the notion that somebody's willing to break the law and fuck other people over for financial gain. I don't like it, but I can understand it.
That people just do that as is. They don't even have to be an executive, business owner, politics. People just do that as is. I see it every day. The amount of internet YouTube channels, drama channels that will just cover the latest scandal or try to ruin somebody's reputation, right? It's something I have to worry about every day, right? I'm gonna have to worry about in this video. Is someone gonna be like, "Oh, VTuber finally goes political" or something like that? I don't just get bent. Come on, like, I don't know. Like, this is just an inherently human thing, and I hate that it happens, but unfortunately you have to deal with that because there are people that will just do things to just F other people over, and it's just depressing after a while.
For the life of me, cannot wrap my head around the concept of a politician, somebody that's in charge of the rules of society, not having the mental capacity to understand the simple logic of, if I do this, they'll do that. How in the fuck is that a thing? It's like
all I'm gonna say. We've had some public office members just, like, stroke out in the middle of speeches this past year. It's honestly, I agree where you're coming from. How is this allowed? How is this a thing? How can you not have this mental cognizance and critical thinking skills? Like, how is this possible? And then I remember this. Aren't some of them on Alzheimer's medication too? They're just on medications. They're stroking out in the middle of speeches. Oh my God, it's an absolute circus. Like, I've heard the notion that the rest of the world is laughing at the U.S., and I honestly can see it. I could see it from the outside perspective.
We're in a Three Stooges movie, and they stop, look at the rake, and then step on it and smack themselves in the face anyways. I don't understand.
Yes,
There's truly nothing the government cannot mess up. They mess up absolutely everything they get anywhere near touching, and it has the weirdest ramifications on the planet. In the 1940s, the government bolstered the dairy industry because they wanted to be able to buy more ice cream for the Navy during World War II, and now there's 7 billion pounds of cheese in an underground cave network in Missouri. In the
Yes, editor's note, go watch that. Yes, if you have not seen the Cheese Caves, go watch it, as well as this one as well.
1960s, JFK and Lyndon B. Johnson tried to incentivize Germans to buy more American chicken, and now for some reason I'm not allowed to own a Toyota Hilux, and now it's looking like the California state government tried to raise the minimum wage for fast food workers and somehow didn't do that, but inadvertently made every fast food restaurant in the state sell loaves of bread. So in conclusion, I guess we'll just focus on the small silver lining of this entire story, and that is that pretty much every news outlet, left-leaning or not, has decided to call out a corrupt politician, and we need more of that in the world. Quit playing party politics where you defend somebody just because they have your same political beliefs or they're on your side, and call out corruption when you see it, whether they're supposed to be on your team or not. That's exactly how the world should be, and I think it's great journalism. So if that's your guys' news outlet and you were part of that, kudos. I appreciate it, and I'm sure a lot of other people do too. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Whack bang out.
I love this. This is wild to consider.
And I am gonna go figure out how to untint the windows in my fucking car.
I'm so sorry you're having to deal with that. They really crack down on stuff like that. I'm so sorry you're having to deal with that, Fat Electrician. That is not... Sorry. I hope that it gets resolved soon. I hope that everything goes well for you. First off, first order of business, if you haven't checked out the Fat Electrician or his second channel, the Fat Files, please check out the Fat Files and the Fat Electrician. I absolutely love reacting to their content. I think that he puts out an awesome amount of work. I think his editor's super cool, putting those little quirky nerks. I love him. I love this content. And especially if you want more of it, he puts out a lot of great work. I try to give it a few days before I react to any of them out of courtesy. And as always, Fat Electrician knows that he does have an open door policy in regards to if there's something that I say, if he doesn't want something reacted to, if he wants something redacted. Open door policy, as I give any other channel that I react to. But overall, just super legit dude. I know some people had mentioned sentiment in regards to, Kip, this is going to get a little political, and I hope I've done a good job of explaining. When it comes to firearm content, especially how charged it is, I do avoid politics, especially online. I don't want it to lessen my stance, lessen my impact. I don't want it to turn into a, oh, well, you're just this... You're just well, you own guns, so you're just a right-wing buzzword, and it's like, look, I'm here for safety and education. If we want to have a discussion about this, and I'm like talking about Fat Electrician putting out something like this, oh, we can have an absolute conversation about this. If I was put on a podcast and like, look, hey, we want you to talk about this, let's do this, right? Like the Unsubscribed podcast, not that I'm big enough, right? But in a situation like that, I could absolutely talk all day. I could do that, and I could try to bring up some really good points, but understand that it is exhausting the sheer amount of times that I have to discuss things like this, especially with how I break down information. As many of you know, I will take a subject and I will break it down to its core components. If you want an apolitical take on this specific video, apolitically, I think it's BS that you have one prominent public figure doing something, passing legislation that will help another prominent figure, and specifically them by adding that clause. I think that's any reasonable person can look at that and go, excuse me? What? You're not, you know your position. You cannot be this dumb. You cannot be this dense, right? And then obviously you can, it's not even just a party issue, right? You're seeing that everyone unanimously is kind of like, excuse you should not be doing this. And we need to be calling stuff out like that. Absolutely. I am 100% for this video. I think this video is great. But unfortunately, especially as much as I use a VTuber avatar, as much as I identify as a VTuber, I am, for all intents and purposes, not one, because I don't really have a persona. I don't really go into a character. If anything, you know, I'm 5'11", broad shoulders. I don't feel like I look good on camera, and you know, I would rather just use a model. One day, maybe I'll show my face. I don't know. It depends. I'm not quite at my breakaway point that I would feel comfortable fully committing to a face reveal, if that makes sense. And I feel that at the very least, this is a very incredibly reasonable take on an action, and this really should get a lot of you people pissed. It should get everyone pissed, because you can't be in that position of authority, that position of power, and show blatant favoritism to your to your buddy, right? And we all do favors for each other, right? Like you mentioned, you kick a bunch of kicking each other in the dick. Do you actually do it? No. Or, for example, I have a buddy maybe, right? Or say our mod, right? One of our mod, we go shooting, right? And he's like, damn, I forgot my 38 special. And it's like, oh, damn, it's almost like I bought some extra 38 special just so you can go and shoot. Oh, damn. Right? that kind of thing. So yes, friends do things for each other, and that shouldn't be vilified. What should be vilified is that this has a direct monetary impact on policy and shows blatant favoritism. That's what I'm taking issue with. But I don't know. What are your thoughts? Please be civil in the comment section. Please be civil. Let me know if I guess you think that this was an incredibly reasonable take. Let me know if you think I handled this better than you thought this would have been handled. Definitely go check out the Fat Electrician and the Fat Files in case you have not yet. They're absolutely amazing. I absolutely just love the content he puts out. And I will see you all in the next one.